What's up, everybody? I am Paul Doski with my lovely fiance,
Tessa Baker.
And you know what? We're not even going to tell you the name of the show anymore. You should know. That's why you're here anyway, is listening. So, yeah, let's just get on to it. Now, for those of you that may remember a campaign that I believe started near the end of this new year, but ended, I believe, in January. And unfortunately didn't make it to their goal at the time. So now they're back for round 2. And with us, we're here to talk about one specific universe. And it's going to maybe grow into it, but that's why we're here to find out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the creator of the Amelia Sky universe, Jermaine Boyd.
Awesome. It was great to be on.
Well, thank you, Jermaine, for, allowing us to talk with you.
No, not a problem.
Yeah. Now, just out of curiosity, Jermaine, is kind of what got you into like the weird horror genre and like the comic universe?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of horror. I've been a giant fan of sci-fi. Ever since I was a kid, I can remember sitting down and with my mom and watching Star Trek and watching Twilight Zone and reading books on sci-fi. So that's kind of where I started my beginnings when I was a kid. As for the comics, I was a giant comic fan when I was a kid. My first graphic novel was The Dark Knight Returns, and that kind of pushed me into the whole comic book industry. My original medium would be movie writing, script writing. That's what I went to school for directing. But some of my stories, I wanted to get more of a fan following, so I decided to bring those stories into the comic book universe.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, when I used to be little, I used to be like into the Batman detective series, and then as I grew older, I kind of went out of comics for a while. And then I think it was last year maybe or some shit. I don't know. Maybe 2 years ago is when I would just like, you know what? I haven't read a good comic in forever, and there seems to be some good ones coming out, so I'm gonna try to get back into it. And here I am now, and here we are talking. So because of the fact that we're talking to you, is I want to also mention for those that do not know your series too, is your Amelia Sky universe has a very cool way of having like a watercolor feel. And,
yes.
And I'm God, I really want to say somebody either backed you and that's why I found you. Otherwise, your Kickstarter at the time was like a project we love or something, because I just remember getting an email and I just saw Amelia Sky and I'm like, oh, what is this? Because, I see like the watercolor effect and I'm like, all right, I need to check this out. So that's how how I became a new fan. And then Tessa here, I think became a fan probably today after reading both your issues to get ready for talking with you.
Oh, awesome. I always love new fans.
Well, I just want to ask real quick too for Tessa. So Tessa, what do you agree with the watercolor effect, and what else did you like about the Amelia Sky after your first read through?
I honestly really enjoy the concept. The monsters, or should I say the creatures. I am a big fan of the dog, Ace. Great name. Yeah, I like his protective nature and stuff like that. And
that's awesome. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, Ace is he is going to be a pillar in the story. He's his own character. Don't expect to see some crazy situation where you see him just die off in like the early stages of the comic book. He'll be around for a very long time.
Nice. Now, speaking of a very long time, Jermaine, now, do you have an idea of how many issues are going to be in this Amelia Sky universe, or is it just one of those things where you just want to see how long it can last?
Right now, I have a total of 8 volumes. So There is 6 issues per volume. So we're looking at, I'd like to get to at least 120, and that's probably where it's going to end at. That's where it will transition off into something different. But yes, it's actually it's going to be a pretty big epic story.
I would say. Wow. So for those also listening, Jermaine, can you tell us about a little bit about Amelia Sky for those that may not know what it is that is listening?
Of course. She is a 12-year-old, very sassy, very smart girl. She wakes up in New York City and is in a high-rise where it is right after the, I guess, apocalypse, so it's post-apocalypse. Most of the people in the world have gone, and she's just trying to figure out what her place is within this world. When she wakes up, she has no memory of who she is or where she came from, so she's kind of wandering around trying to find someone who can help her. She ends up meeting a couple of friends along the way that can offer her a little bit more information about what's going on within the universe. And from there, she kind of gains a little bit more knowledge of who she is to be able to go and find who made her parents. And it kind of it snowballs from there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we saw like something weird was going on at the very beginning of issue 1, where it looked like her parents knew what she was, even though they were trying to, like, I don't want to say too much, but it just makes more sense if somebody knows what I'm talking about too, which is like they were even trying to kill off their own daughter. So that was very interesting because it's just like, oh wow, like the parents would even go so far to, because of the fact that their daughter isn't normal, and they would even try to create almost like an accident because of the building crumbling apart.
Exactly. I wanted to make sure that I allowed the utmost suspense. So at the very beginning, it seems like you have so many questions, but after every issue, you'll start to learn a little bit more until the very end, and you're like, okay, wow, that's who she is. As for her parents, they will definitely come into play later on within the storyline, but at the very beginning, I wanted you guys to kind of see that if even her parents are trying to eliminate her, then she's got to be something pretty big.
That's true. Now, I haven't gotten a chance to actually read it myself, but I know that you guys have a prequel, I believe, to the Amelia Sky series. Are you able to at least explain what that prequel is supposed to represent, or at least tell before?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. The prequel is called The Remains, and it focuses on a group of all-female fighters that end up coming together before the Amelia story, but right as the apocalypse happens, the alien apocalypse happens. They gather up, and they're kind of the only ones within this world. Not giving away too much, but I guess I can give this away. The world is pretty much filled with all women. All the guys are gone now. So it's going to focus on this elite group of soldiers and survivors who get together, and they call themselves the Remains, and it's going to tell you a little bit about how they came together, but also is going to tell you about how the world ended. And then all the way up to the point where you see Amelia wake up in the high-rise. Later on in Amelia's story, you'll start to learn more about, you'll start to get this sense of the Remains are kind of here and there and everywhere, and she's trying to eventually she's going to try to go in and find the Remains.
Awesome. Now I gotta like go and get this prequel thing if I can like read it myself, and that way I can at least say I've read everything. But yeah. No, I like the idea, and man, all these, I guess there must be a hatred for men as all of them are gone. But then again, we're all the end of our own demise anyway, because we're the fucking retarded people that would probably be like end the world to begin with. So.
Well, I mean, I'm a giant feminist. That's just me. My mom is definitely a hippie feminist, so she kind of brought me up on that. But as in us being the destroyers in this world, that's definitely not the case. It's because the Shriekers are looking for energy, and they are looking for the ones to have more muscle mass, and so therefore they'll eat the ones who have the most muscle mass first. Most of the guys have that to them, so that's why they eliminate them first, pretty much.
So basically, you guys became dinner.
Pretty much.
And that would explain the hashtag that Jermaine uses too. Which is the hashtag they ate them first or something like that.
Exactly.
That makes so much sense now. Now, before I blabber on even more, but the only question that I can think of before, if Tessa wants to say something too, because I just don't want to hog the whole thing.
Oh, you're fine. I can jump in if I think of anything.
But the one thing that I saw, or I saw or read, whatever, is that you guys are planning on having different type of creatures, like the first episode. Wow. Well, I guess we could call it that, because that's technically what a damn comic is. It's like, it's an episode. It's like a TV show. It's like, oh, you get this so much, and then you gotta wait.
Well,
exactly. I wrote when I initially wrote this, it was a TV show, and I ended up just adapting it to comic books. But yeah, we can call it that, sure.
Yeah, so I think it was the first thing that I remember seeing was like a mutant spider, or the Shriekers or something,
Shriekers.
And then
yes,
and then you were planning on having different type of creatures. So is there a way, without saying too much, but can you explain to us like what type of creatures you are possibly thinking of?
There's going to be, you'll have a ton of the Shriekers. Then you'll have certain adaptations of the Shriekers. They may be the small, elite little soldier drone fighters, and then later on in the series, you might see really big ones like brutes come into play. But most of all, then later on in the series, you'll get to see more aliens. Because the world, the universe is very cluttered, but there is something bigger happening. So that's why I want to add in certain other aliens within the storyline as it progresses.
Fair enough.
So how did you come up with the concept for Amelia Sky?
I wrote, when I was a kid, I wanted to write a superhero, and I wanted it to be something different, because every comic book that I've ever seen has been characters that were already grown up, and they've already been put through the fire and along their journeys in the past, and I wanted to do something different, completely different from that. I came up with Amelia because I wanted to be a superhero myself as a kid, and I thought the complete opposite of that would be a little girl, pretty much, and I kept it kind of in the back burner for a very long time until eventually I got to college and kind of lined out what I really wanted from that storyline. And then suddenly one day I came up with that name, Amelia Sky. It's just because I myself, I want a daughter one day in the future, and so that's how I kind of project that what I want in a daughter in this character, and it allowed me to kind of get the whole idea of who she is and what her motives is going to be throughout the storyline.
Fair enough. Yeah, you definitely don't want a normal kid then. That's exactly what I think episode 2, as we're going to call it, really portrays as well. And
yeah, I was a giant fan of Mega Man when I was a kid, and I really wanted something to that degree. So certain things you'll see, like Mega Man or The Last of Us. No, that's recent, but Mega Man's been around for forever. Certain aspects of my favorite things that I liked when I was a kid, you'll see certain things like that in Amelia Sky. Like Amelia could definitely kind of mirror Mega Man, and Ace can kind of mirror Mega Man's dog as well. So definitely, yeah.
Nice. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I guess in a way we all wanted to be superheroes at probably one point in our life. We used to
yeah, definitely.
I mean, we probably even went full blown put a blanket around us and tied it together and as our cape to try to fly off the bed, and that failed horribly. But I mean, no. At this case, it really doesn't show, or at least Amelia, as you were saying, doesn't really know that at the time of what she really is, and I think. Without going into too much, but I would say it seems like what really triggered it too is near the end of the episode 2, where this specific scene is happening, which I'm going to say because of that specific scene, it's what drove Amelia to unlock what was actually hidden inside of her.
Dormant, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's that will progress throughout the first volume until the very end, until you find out what she actually is. And I wanted to try to make sure I pull the slow burn on that as much as possible, but not to the point where you were uninterested anymore. With Amelia and her powers, they'll start to, every issue you'll start to get a sense of how strong she really is and what she's capable of.
And speaking of like characters, let me rephrase this. Who was the inspiration for the Eleanor character, especially with the dog Ace that Tessa loves so much?
Yeah, I'll ask that after.
Sure. That is kind of more of an inspiration from my grandmother. When she was younger. And then it's a combination of my mother as well. So, yeah, it's definitely, and a little bit of characters here and there that I may have seen on some favorite TV show or some awesome book that I may have read. But yeah, I would definitely say though, she is inspired by my mom and my grandmother.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who or what inspired Ace?
Ace is, I've always wanted a dog, but I've always been a giant fan of Batman. So he is kind of if you have seen Batman Beyond, if you're a giant lover of that, Ace is kind of a mirror projection of that dog as well. But I guess I had to change it around so it wasn't exactly like Ace, that dog from Batman Beyond.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to borrow, but you don't want to borrow the exact same thing. Yeah, exactly. I just don't want to pronounce her name wrong because I know she was gonna try to make it here tonight. But your illustrator there,
Gwen. Yes.
Yeah. How did you find her? Because to be honest, I've seen her name now twice on a couple things that I have read, and one being yours, and then another being another series that I have actually just finished reading. So how did you guys meet each other, or how did you find her? Or, yeah.
Sure. When I started looking for comic book illustrators, I went through so many just to find the right feel for Amelia Sky. I had a couple of illustrators at the very beginning who were more concept artists than anything. So it led me to go down a prime path of finding a comic book illustrator. I met Gwen through, I went to Academy of Art University, and that's how we met. And I knew she was an illustrator, but she was trying to put herself in the business or get herself a push-off, and she is an excellent illustrator. And I knew that she would be able to draw the pure emotion that I had in the character and in each and every character. her sense of style for watercolors and any pretty much medium for that matter is just it's extraordinary. So whenever I saw a couple of her concept arts or illustrations that she did, I knew that she was the person that needed to be on this.
I don't blame you one bit. So just saying, because I mean, the other series that I've seen her do, and then this series, it's just incredible how different the artwork really is and what she can actually do, which is just like another reason why it just blows my mind. Like between yours and then the other one that I read, it's just like wow. Like she does so many different things that create her pretty much. She just has her very own unique styles in this case, where it's just all over the place, and which is a good thing. And so yeah, I give her props. Yeah, exactly.
Since she's a giant fan of horror, and I knew that in sci-fi, and she's really good at disturbing scenes, because there are a lot of disturbing scenes in the first one and the second one, and to come, the third one coming up. Just throughout the series, there's a lot of disturbing scenes that need to be like very detailed, like in a certain way, and have a certain mood about it. And Gwen just knocks it out of the park every single time.
And speaking of like disturbing scenes and all that stuff, but just for inspiration stuff, which I found interesting, is like the inspiration for your upcoming issue number 3, The Monster Within Us, and the cover art is actually was inspired by John Wick, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I saw the John Wick 2, and I saw that poster that they made of him, and I thought that it was just perfect. It was a perfect setup for the cover for Amelia Sky, just having all of her antagonist around her, at a very dark setup, just like John Wick has in that movie and throughout, I'm sure, the movies to come. But John Wick and her have this certain, I guess, personality, very cold and very calculated. So eventually, Amelia will get to that point of being very cold and calculated once she understands what she really is.
Interesting. Now, did anything inspire the first 2 issue covers at all, or was it just one of those like, well, since we got the environment, which is the apocalypse type deal and stuff like that, like, did you want to just really like something simple like the first cover is? And then we see, I'm trying to remember the second one off the top of my head. It's like a graveyard of vehicles with, I think, like snow or something. But like, was any of those inspired by anything?
Let's see. More so, just inspired by the world around them. The first cover was done by Mike Redman, who was one of the artists who was going to take on Amelia Sky. He ended up going into animation, and so that's why it's so different from Gwen's work. But that cover, I wanted to have the feel of desolation, and you to know that there's a lot of people dead. So her standing upon this pile of skeletons and bones and all that, it just made a feel for the entire story going through. For the second issue, that is of Eleanor walking down a long, just isolated, desolate path of just carnage and cars and people everywhere. And I wanted to show you, the audience, how strong she was as a character to be able to walk that line without anybody around her and still stay safe.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the lead females are coming back stronger now too. Like, and I'm just talking like in general too, like whether it be books, TV shows, movies. For a longer time we've never really seen too much of a lead female protagonist, and except for like back in the day with like Alien and stuff. But then it's mainly a male protagonist, and then it seems like nowadays you can't really watch or read something without there being a lead female protagonist. And I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing. I'm just saying like it's probably good that it's about time that women are shown as a very strong human being when as I think Tessa would say, if it can bleed for 5 days and not die, I mean, you gotta like expect it or whatever.
Pretty much, if we've been washing blood stains out of our clothes for years, and we bleed for 5 days and don't die, it's something you should be afraid of.
Yeah, there it is.
I like that. That's very nice, and that's kind of my idea with it as well. It has been so many just stories from the male perspective, and now I think we kind of live in an age now where it's a new era, and we get to see different stories from a different perspective. Had it be from women or from any other minority, it's just a different perspective of story. I like that myself personally. I like to see something completely different. I think we've run the gambit of seeing males take over and save the day. I think we all got that. So.
I mean, I think that right there makes me like Amelia Sky so much more, is because you see a world where women are trying to save themselves, I guess, and not relying on a man to do it. And essentially, the men have all been eaten and destroyed anyway. But it's just really cool to see female heroines. Yeah, it's refreshing, really.
And that's as in the storyline as it progresses. Issue 3 has a male antagonist, and he'll explain a little bit as to why he is one of the ones only left. But whenever you do find a male within the story of Amelia Sky, it's one of those things where you kind of have to make sure you take a double look at them, because a lot of the males that are left in the world are isolated and they're crazy. So you just have to keep an eye out.
But yes. I didn't mean to like interrupt that, but yeah, I mean, it's perfect about the whole being crazy and stuff. It's like, yeah, because they went crazy because they probably watched everybody else get eaten. So, but it is interesting because it would be cool to see how that plays out too, because maybe you might want to maybe you're actually try to maybe have whoever is left for the male try to gain up on the women because they're overpowering the male population now or something. Or in that matter of the males, like they always try to do, let's repopulate the world and save the world. And yeah, oh God, here we go. So yeah, it would be interesting to really see what you do with that as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a place for that in the storyline. So if that's something that you're looking for, you'll find it within the story very. I wouldn't say soon, but you will find it definitely.
Yeah, probably be in like next volume or something. So no
exactly.
Now, how long does it take for you guys to draw, color, and get your issue that is going on at the time ready and to be printed? How long had it taken you guys?
I mean, it's really right now about, for us, financing. So it could take us, if we have the right amount of money and we all have the time ready to go, it could take us a good maybe 2 months to get everything ready to go and set. I'm kind of a perfectionist. So if I see something that's wrong, then I want to go back and fix it. And it takes a lot for me to not to do that. But, and that kind of adheres the time a little bit. But we would like to gain more followers, gain more money, so that when we can bring this out, like more of a monthly type thing. Right now, being on Kickstarter makes it a little bit harder for us to pull that off. And it takes a lot more, the time between us putting out issues, it seems like so long, but I mean, we could have an issue done in 2 months. So it's just preparing the financing for it and getting that ready. That's what takes us so long to get an issue out, which is unfortunate.
Yes, because it does. Because I mean, I'm probably enjoying this to the point where it's just like, man, the next one just needs to come out. But in order for that to happen, people need to recognize this awesome project and back it and everything else. And it's just like, come on, everybody, just point gun to their head and make them donate. No, I'm joking. You're not gonna like rally up people, tie them down, and then like put them to their knees with a gun behind their head and say, "You pledge now, otherwise you got 3 seconds to tell us why."
Oh, goodness.
But that's what I mean. But see, that is why us men got eaten first, because of that want to just wipe out everything off the planet, even though I'm really not like that.
So basically what you're saying is if we were in the Amelia Sky universe, you'd already be dead.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean...
Well, the reason why I say this is it's kind of funny how Paul and I actually met. So
yes, please tell Jermaine how we met.
Oh yeah, I think he'll get a kick out of this.
And to make it more official to Jermaine, is after this, what I'll even do for you is send you the picture to help you much more better understand the story of what we just told you.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so basically how Paul and I met is we met through a mutual friend of ours who's a photographer, and she was doing a project with Paul, a photography shoot with Paul for the Faces of Death. And I was actually coming to meet her as a new model for her company. And so I was coming to do a photo shoot with her of my own. So I got there, I met everybody, I went off and I did my photo shoot with her. And then I came back and Paul needed help with his. So the idea was he was supposed to originally have his photo shoot done outside in the snow, but there was no snow. Like the rain essentially melted away all the snow. So it changed his photo shoot to being done in the bathroom. So what happened was Paul needed to die. He needed to be murdered.
It gets better.
So they were like, so who wants to kill Paul? Who wants to murder Paul? Me, without hesitation, and without skipping a beat, I said, I'll do it.
Nice.
So I got to mine and Paul's first time ever meeting was I murdered him in the bathtub with his own fantasy double-bladed fantasy axe. That
is crazy, but also awesome. Crazy awesome.
So I was his murderess.
I mean, I found that double-bladed fantasy battle axe for like I think $20 at a gas station. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
So after that, we became friends through social media, and over like 6 or 7 months, we became best friends. And then one day we decided, let's take it to the next level and become a couple.
That's awesome. You guys sound like you should be together, pretty much. Like, wow, that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate the kind word. So yeah, that's really how we first met. And then when we started telling people around, I guess our hometown, everybody just was just like, "Wow, that's kind of creepy." So then we developed the nickname, the Creepy Couple. So
yeah, we got dubbed the Creepy Couple.
That is nothing wrong with that. You guys like what you like. I mean, it's hard to find people who are like-minded. So whenever you do find somebody who likes the same things you like, you have to hold on to that. That's awesome.
Yes. She can be a pain in the ass. It's like I can be a pain in her ass. So
yes,
it works out in the end.
She can be a pain in my ass. We've had our obstacles and our rough patches, but I think every couple does, and
yeah,
we work through it. I don't think I've ever met somebody who shares as much as I do in common than Paul.
That's awesome.
He really mirrors me in a lot of ways, and he compliments me in others. And he really doesn't realize this, but he's brought out a lot in me.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys met. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I sent you the picture on the Amelia Sky Instagram, so you can now see the picture of the story she was just talking about. So,
oh wow, that's awesome! I can't see it now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that battle axe that you see, yeah, that's my bad boy.
That's neat.
Murder you with it.
Yeah, that thing is really sharp too. So yeah,
it looks like it is.
I told him that we do a photo shoot again in the future. I told him that we can reverse the roles and he can murder me.
There you go.
Yeah, hey. So I'll probably be like the revengeful spirit coming back for the kill or something.
It sounds very supernatural. Like.
Well, what can I say? I was brought up with a lot of paranormal stuff going on around me, so why not?
Exactly. That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Now, to get back to Amelia Sky, too, after that nice little break about how we got engaged and, all that lovey-dovey cookie-coo stuff. Now, anyway, I guess the idea is, so I know you told us a little bit of what's going on, Jermaine, but what else can we expect for your issue 3 of Amelia Sky?
You can expect a lot of tension within this issue. It's going to be very suspenseful. It's going to be it'll be very gory towards the very end of it. But you'll end up seeing how strong Amelia really is. So she gets to a place where she finds somebody else, and he doesn't really turn out the way that you think he should turn out, and she has to survive that situation. And it's only her now. It's no Eleanor to help her out. So she'll have to figure it out for herself. And once she does that, it's going to further that unlocking of who she really is inside.
Damn. Well, wow. Like, this already sounds like it's going to be a really good issue. And speaking of which, too, of the issue, in order for us to even see the damn issue, listeners, yes, now I'm talking to you, listeners, and we're going to all be talking to you in a minute, or right now, I should say, which is this. So, I guess my pitch for you, listeners, is this. So, what you're going to do is you're going to stop listening, hit the pause button after I tell you to hit pause. So, you're going to go to Kickstarter.com. You're going to type in the Amelia Sky issue number 3, The Monster Within Tells You. Because I apparently got the name wrong. But anyway, so The Monster Within Tells You. And you're going to back it. Why? Because, well, let's see. If you want to see issue 3 to continue the story of this amazing watercolor Amelia Sky universe, well, I guess it just needs to be funded. So that's exactly what you're gonna do. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna message Jermaine and be like, "Oh, guess what? I got told. I guess I needed to come and tell you that I pledged." And that's exactly what you're gonna do. So good. So, all right, pause right now, go back it, and then come back and listen in. Okay, here we go. Welcome back, listeners. Now, that hopefully you pledge. If not, well, maybe this will make you want to go and pledge. Right, babe? All right. And Jermaine, which is this? So we got 29 days to go on your Kickstarter. You got roughly a little bit over 1,200 of your 3,500 goal, and your campaign ends on Friday, July 5th. Now, what kind of rewards can people get for backing your second round of trying to fund this amazing project?
Well, you'll get some pretty awesome swag. You'll get Amelia Sky limited edition T-shirt, a hoodie that we are offering. I do want to make sure that fans have more of a hand in this issue. So if there are any women out there who want to be a comic book character, there is a spot that we're trying to keep open so we can draw the likeness of whoever gets that certain tier into the storyline. You'll also get to see at the highest tiers a little bit more of a preview into issue 4, which it opens up the world even more. You'll get to meet some more of the characters, and trust me, you're definitely going to meet a lot of interesting characters. Also, with that said, you'll also see a remastered edition of issue 1, and hopefully we can get this back. We can go backwards and just do another issue that kind of mirrors the look of what the second one and the third one looks like right now. Issue 1 was the first issue, and my illustrator was trying to kind of mirror what the previous artist had done before her. So this time around, she had the ability to just take the realms herself. I didn't give her much direction, because I don't like to do that with artists. I like to give them my idea and then have them be inspired by it to produce something all their own. So this time we want to go back and do issue 1 and kind of make it a little more colorful for you guys.
Aw, you hear that? Colorful. So it's not all dark and gray. It's going to be bright, shiny rainbows with peppercorn. Wait, peppercorn. What? What did your
Rainbow sprinkles?
Rainbow sprinkled with unicorns flying around, pooping on.
Yeah, let me help you with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the hell did peppercorn come from?
I don't know. Maybe because I was trying to think of something smart ass to say, but in that case, it came out like that. I don't know. Anytime I try to say something out of random, it makes sense. Yeah, exactly. No time. But no, you did answer the question that I would wanted to know anyway. With what was going on with this remaster thing? I believe you were telling me about a little bit over social media one time anyway. The whole different artists and stuff like that. So it is quite interesting. So I guess Jermaine is like, is there anything that we're missing that we didn't get to that we should know, or do you think we covered it pretty good?
I think you guys covered it pretty well. I definitely haven't. This is the first time of me saying that the world is filled with all women. I don't really get to say that a lot. Most people don't know that. So any of your listeners right now kind of got that little spoiler in. And how big the world really is with the volumes. That's pretty awesome. But other than that, you guys covered it pretty well.
Good. That's what I like to hear. And yeah, no, I didn't even realize the whole world was full of females too. So I guess that was new to me too. So awesome. So now that I actually really know what everything of the hashtags even mean, it's pretty good. Especially the whole evolve or die hashtag, Jermaine. Can you tell us what that hashtag is supposed to be about? Especially if it's the whole like they ate them first thing. Now did the evolve or die have any type of meaning behind that?
It has a few meanings here and there. As in the storyline, the world is it's about evolution. It's about what I see us becoming later on towards our future. And in this world, you either have to evolve around these new threats or you'll die. As in the picture for our comic book, it's more of the industry is changing and a lot of comic books are just being laid to the wayside and it's becoming so hard to be able to produce self-published works that kind of get out there and people get to see. So it's either you evolve to a new world of the industry or you'll die off and then nobody will know that you even existed.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that sucks too for some people too, where they want to get their artwork or, well, in this case, yeah, their art, I should say, really not really artwork, but their art out there into the world, and it gets really tough when you start becoming buried underneath all the scraps and other popular stuff, where even you guys don't even have that chance to become something more rather than just that small nobody, really. And then it sucks. And it's like me and Tessa. We started this podcast on February 12th, 2017, and I still find ourselves small. And lately, we keep, sometimes we get some email come through, and they're just like, "Oh, hey, I heard about you guys and didn't know if you wanted to talk about this with me." And I'm like, how did you find us? And one person literally, I shit you not, one person literally told us that they were at a bar one time and that's how they found us. We're just literally in a bar and somebody was talking about us in a bar. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then another guy found us just by randomly going through horror podcasts, and then another one found us. I forgot now. Just by searching, I think searching Google or something, and it's just like, oh wow. But I think the bar one takes the cake, though. It's just like, oh, we're being talked about in a bar now. I see. So.
Yeah, I like to you guys. So that's pretty amazing that you guys started something to help out small independent comic book creators. And that's a lot of us can't find outlets like this to be able to come on and tell you about what we're doing and the future and just art in general. So thank you guys for having me on.
No, thank you for allowing us to have you on. Really, I mean, I think that's really one of the reasons why Tessa and I wanted to do this anyway. Well, we didn't really plan it right away to be like, oh yeah, let's go talk with all the indie people. No, it's actually more of like, well, let's first see if we really want to do this, and then I think it was 2 months later when we first started it, when we did our first interview. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking because just for another behind the scenes, Jermaine, about us is Tessa and I are not very social. So
I understand that.
So doing this was a big step for us, and it still is, depending on who we're talking to. But I think though, once we find the right people and stuff, we become very good friends with everybody that we talk to. And I hope that you and I and Tessa become pretty good friends and stuff, because you seem like a pretty chill dude, and I love your work. And I just really hope that Amelia Sky really can become something more than just a comic too, because you even had ideas about Amelia Sky if it was going to become a TV show. This is who would play who. So
yes, it's going to come a time where we do have. That is ultimately my goal in the end, is to make it an animated show. Eventually, down the line, live action. But I do that is where my main talents come from, is in directing and screenplay writing. Done a lot of movies here and there, but that's what I primarily want to do with my life. So I want to be able to bring Amelia eventually into a different medium, and then from there have it progress. We are trying to get into Comic-Cons right now. We haven't been into any of them, unfortunately, due to some financial situations, but you can hopefully see us soon within this year going to some Comic-Cons and starting to introduce Amelia to the comic book industry.
Well, I will say is that if you guys are somehow around in the fall in the New York area, we could probably see you there.
Definitely. That's on New York Comic Con. We definitely want to. I do have plans to try to make it to that as well. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know if we would go to that big one, which I hear is very great, but I know there's also the Albany Comic Con that's going on in the fall. They actually just had one this past weekend, and I met some horror comic people there too, so it was great. And they're planning on doing another one this coming fall in Saratoga and Albany, so it's going to be a crazy month. And plus, October is going to be my birth month, so
that's perfect.
So yeah, exactly. A lot of things that we want to do in that month. So we probably want to go back to Salem. Probably want to hit one of the Comic Cons again, and yeah, it's going to be a crazy month.
Definitely want to go back to Salem.
Yeah, that was fun.
Salem sounds awesome. Hopefully, that's a shipping deadline for us is around Halloween time. I like to be able to start the new issue 4 around Halloween time, in the fall. So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, hopefully, Jermaine, I can my birthday gift could be like a preview of issue 4. No, I'm joking.
For you guys, definitely.
Oh, well, we would be honored to do an early preview review for you or something. So it would be definitely we'll do something for you for sure for that. We try to do anything we really can for people that give us anything early, just because it means a lot to us too. So
yeah, my birthday's next week.
Oh, happy pre-birthday.
Oh yeah. That's another funny story, Jermaine. I'll let you tell that one too. I think it's funny when you tell birthdays. Really? Really? You got to think about it? Okay. Wow.
You can tell this
one. Holy shit. Oh my God. All right.
Which birthday? We've been together for almost 4 years.
Holy crap. Here we go. All right. So not only do we share the same interests and all that crap.
Oh, yeah, that.
Oh, see, now she freaking remembers. Oh my God.
Well, you said speak out.
That's for not remembering.
We both shared we were both born on the 13th
of the month.
He was born October 14th. I was born June 13th.
That's awesome. That's a sign.
Yep. See, exactly. But yes, Jermaine, I do appreciate your time. I don't want to take up any more time because I know you're probably going to get back to promoting your Kickstarter too, which is, once again, people, ends on July 5th. So get your asses to the Kickstarter campaign and pledge, because you know what? We want to all see it come to life. And if you don't do it, I will find you. And, we will just have a good old grand old time walking down the street and explaining So yeah,
Oh,
we don't
goodness.
want that to happen now, do we? Yes, we do. So yes, Jermaine, thank you so much again for your time. Also, real quick, is for anybody that want to keep up to date with Amelia Sky, where can people go to see all this incredible news?
They can always go to the website, whoisameliasky.com, but they can also go to we are on Comology, so they can also pick up the comic issue 1 and issue 2 on that platform as well.
Oh, cool. Yes. And I'll make sure to provide the link in the description below too for where you can keep up with Jermaine and everything Amelia Sky. And what we can do too, Jermaine, is in the future, when like issue 3 comes out, we can have you back on to talk about issue 3 and give out a little bit of what we can really talk about as well.
Oh, that would be perfect. That's awesome. I love that. Hopefully we can get we'll get Gwen and my letter with Quinn on as well, and then we can all have a conversation about it.
Exactly. We can have a great big round table.
Nice.
That would be great. So, because it would always be good to hear everybody's story. Just be like I can hear like somebody just be like, "Yeah, I mean, Jermaine, he was such a pain to work for. He didn't really tell me what I wanted to go by, but I had that freedom." Well, I just want to put that dick and give you not much freedom. Well, I don't know what I should do. Well, I gave you freedom, didn't I? Yeah, I guess. All right, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it would sound like that, but I mean,
yeah.
Okay, here we go. Yeah. But yes, Jermaine, thank you once again, though, and I appreciate the time that you gave us to talk about the Amelia Sky, and I really hope that Amelia Sky does push through to go. And by any chance, too, is there any stretch goals once you make the goal, too?
Yes, there is once we make the first initial goal, we're going to go ahead and start sending out some free swag, get some magnets to a lot of the tiers, like 20 and up. Then we'll start to send out T-shirts, and ultimately we want to send out the remastered issue to everyone as well. And the ultimate goal right now is to make some pop figurines, a custom pop figurine for everyone to have a little Amelia around the household.
That would be cool. That would be right into my little vault of stuff. So, yeah. So, if that were to happen, your thing would be like, right in a vault. Pretty much never, ever going to be touched again.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but yes, thank you again, Jermaine, and we'll definitely have to have you back on for sure in the future, and maybe like after Halloween or something, or Thanksgiving, because it's going to be that crazy. Actually, or it should be probably after Thanksgiving or Christmas, because Halloween is such a month to head into where it gets so crazy. So I guess we'll all have to.
October is usually a busy month for us.
Anyways, yeah. But we'll figure it out.
Once we get it funded, once we get it funded and finished, I'll make sure to reach out to you guys, and you guys can preview the entire issue 3 before it's sent out to everybody.
Whoa.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh, God. Well, I guess we know what you can do there,
feel
Tessa.
honored.
We will definitely feel honored.
Awesome.
So, I appreciate it, Jermaine. And for everybody listening, go for support Jermaine's amazing stuff. And not just Jermaine stuff, but everybody that's even working on the project deserved to be known that they're doing a great job, right, everybody? All right, now, I know everybody, Jermaine can't hear it right now, but we'll just do this. Okay, now, Jermaine just need to hear that from every time somebody listens to this episode, he's going to hear. So yes, so make sure that happens. And for every dollar spent, another baby gets saved in the world
That's
of
true.
Amelia Sky by Ace, because we
Very
don't want them to die first.
Exactly.
So every time you donate a dollar or even more, because every dollar counts the same in a baby. So the higher the pledge, the more babies you can save, right, Jermaine?
That's true.
Right. Now, on that note, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and make sure that the monster inside you does not tell you what to do, even though I probably did sound like a monster a second ago telling you. But in that case, it's all good. Make sure to help get Amelia Sky funded, because it is great. And just tell Jermaine that if you do back it, that you were sent by the Everything Horror team. And he would probably come back and say, dude, I hear you guys so much that stop it, okay? Just stop it. Whoa. But on that note, thank you guys so much for listening. My name is Paul Dosky, joined by my lovely fiance,
Tessa Baker.
And we want you all to remember to stay scary.